common man should know, which government doesn't allow you to know, or what exactly we really don't know, which our government has never allowed to know since after so many years after the independence. We all know that we are a sovereign, secular, and democratic country. But are we really democratic? If we are democratic, then we should have the right to know the truth. We should have the right to know the real thing which is there for the ages. But unfortunately, for some reasons, we are still living in darkness. And that is why I felt it is my duty to bring out this information to you. However, this type of topics for many are not of interest, and that is why probably we are not discussing any more on this topic. And that is why when there is every time some national program or there is some national celebration like 15th August Independence Day or 26th January Republic Day, we keep talking about patriotism, we keep talking about national sentiments. In this video, I would discuss about certain facts which have been purposely pushed by the government or the so-called powerful lobbies who really doesn't want that this thing should be discussed and we should really come to know about it. On public request, on my viewers' request, I'm really compelled, I'm really touched by the emotions to come back once again about the secrets of Netaji's end. The beloved leader, Netaji, who was fondly called by his followers Subhash Chandra Bose, the Enigma, he is believed to be considered one of the largest popular leader in the world so far. And that's why, since after his death of passing so many years, we still remember him. It is believed that he died in a 1945 in an unfortunate airplane crash somewhere in Taihoku, which is the present Taiwan. But as per the latest reports which have been found as per the Justice Mukherjee Commission, that this plane crash never happened, which has been always ruled out. However, the government has always, based on the circumstantial evidence, it has already believed that Netaji died in the plane crash. And a part of Netaji's family is also agreeing on that fact. But what exactly happened to Netaji, how his end happened, that is still a question for us. And then we have seen several commissions were organized, but still the fact remains unknown. Still we keep hearing that Netaji's daughter, Ms. Anita Puff, even some of the journalists and certain part of the segment want his last remains, which are preserved in Renkoji Temple in Japan, should be judged for DNA test. But time and again we have seen there are several commissions which have been organized. They have tried to make certain tests and some judgment were passed that it never matched. But how many of us really know that what exactly happened behind the test? All this information we are trying to discuss in a brief discussion today through this video. And if really you are interested to know about the great freedom fighter Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, I'm sure you will watch this video till the end. My friends, it is not important that we should only discuss about this great freedom fighters on occasion of some national events and rest of the year we should really forget them. I think we should keep discussing about such big things and big leaders, and then only we can really be truly inspired by their character and come closer to their virtues. And this endeavor of mine is just to remind us that we really are very much grateful to these leaders, and the more we know about them, somehow we would pay our tribute and respect to them, and it would be an opportunity for us to show our respect to those great leaders. We all know that after Netaji died, there were a lot of controversies, and time and again in different parts of the country, which is very common in a country like India, there were myths that Netaji was visible in certain parts of the country. When JMC Commission or the Mukherjee Commission started its investigation, they found information which came across the Faizabad that certain saint was being seen, a holy man was seen, who always want to come confined in 3 or 4 rooms in a temple, who doesn't get visible to people, who always want to keep his identity secret. So who was that holy man, who was also later named by the media as Gumnami Baba? We were often discussing about this holy man who always spoke behind the curtain, and very often when people come to discuss about his identity, the next morning he used to be invisible and he used to go in a new hideout. So a man who was always trying to curtail his identity, a man who was always living off a life of recluse, an ordinary saint who was not different like any other saint in the part of India. But why exactly he was given so much of value? And if it was an ordinary man, why in that period in 60s so many revolutionary leaders from different parts of the country traveled all the way to that part of Uttar Pradesh to meet that man? It is believed in his initial part in the 60s, when he was actually living first in the Neem Sarai region, he was first being spotted by one of the followers of a revolutionary gang, and when he first meets him, he actually was excited and he tried to give this information to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. But it was believed that it was not being taken seriously. And it has always happened. There were several occasions certain facts came out, but it was always being suppressed. And that is why his own niece, Chitra Bose, when she came to claim for this uncle's belongings after the death of this holy man in 1985, she actually ran pillar to post to prove the identity of Gumnami Baba. But unfortunately, there was a stony silence. No one really paid heed to it, and it was really being suppressed forever. Till today, all his belongings are preserved in one museum in a place in Uttar Pradesh, and it is never being allowed to the common public to show those exhibits. Why so? Why the common people are not really aware of those belongings? Have you ever wondered? Have you really tried to understand that if he was not an important person, why are belongings of a typical saint or a holy man or a recluse are being kept in a museum? What exactly forced the court to give an order to preserve those items and confine them in a museum? It is believed that there are 7,000 such items which are visible, which you can see in this picture, which are used by Netaji. And those items are none other than confidential documents, different kind of books, different kind of political magazines, different kind of military equipments like binoculars. Even there were some maps which were used during the time of World War II. There were several collection of books which were read by elite politicians of that time. So how a normal sadhu, a normal saint who is living a life of a recluse is going to access those precious, valuable items? So those exhibits are still not visible to common public because the government doesn't want the common people to know. If you really go back into his entire investigation during this very commission, it may sound very hilarious to many of you, because the first initiative which was taken by some respected journalists like Sri Anujdhar and Sri Chandrachud Bose to identify this real holy man, they made a lot of efforts and a lot of pursuit. In fact, their latest book, Conundrum, or the film which was made on Gumnami Baba, has been very famous, and it is very much controversial at the same time. People may say many things about that, but the latest findings which has been really screened was that the DNA test which was last being conducted was really fudged. The report was fudged. The electropherogram report was never being given to them, was never being made visible to the public, because it was somehow being damaged, or it was completely a fraudulent dealing. So that's why it never came in front of the public. If we really talk about the handwriting, of course, the handwriting of this holy man are hitherto the same which matched with of the great leader Netaji. But unfortunately, the handwriting experts, who basically were formed by the government, they refused, and they said that it never matched with the handwriting of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. But the handwriting which Netaji's collection or whatever we have seen in the archives or the classified files, it matched with the letters which were written by the holy man. So now, what exactly could be the reason the handwriting of a recluse or a holy man could match with that of the great leader Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose? And it has been seen that neutrally, when somebody is identifying, can always be right. And that is why when we have seen the great handwriting expert of the America, who was of the FBI fame, Kurt Baggett, who basically gave his defined and very detailed explanation that this man was no other than the same man, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who has written those letters. But unfortunately, even after having those evidences, we are still not ready to buy the fact that Gumnami Baba is same as Netaji. So let us discuss about the point that what could be the reason that why we are really not ready to accept the fact that Netaji is Gumnami Baba. The first of all, we should understand that when India got its freedom, or if I say in the other way, that when the power of change happened, when the transition happened from the British government to the Indian government, that is the time when there were some secret dealings which was being made by the leaders of that time of India and the Britishers. And during the secret dealings, there was a point where it was very clearly discussed that Britishers are leaving India, but they are still leaving a part of condition or a part of power which will be still dominating India. And that is the time when we are under the Dominion period, where Britishers are having a complete control of Indians. And that is why it is being believed that Netaji always was under a serious threat. And there were talks already, and it has been also being clearly proved by Mukherjee Commission during that part, that this plane crash theory is completely an engineered story which has been prepared by the Japanese military, because they were completely aware that if Netaji would surrender or if he is captured, then the next time he is going to be shot dead as a prisoner of war. And there was a secret dealing which says that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose should be handed to the Britishers. And that is why till 1960s and 1968 we still come to know that there were foreign spies or the British MI5 people who are hiding in India, who are basically trying to get each and every movement of the Bose family. And our government was consciously giving all this information, the secret information of Netaji Subhash Bose family, to the British government even after the independence. We actually, when we tried to find out the information more about Netaji, we were really surprised by the fact that most of the informations were being destroyed by the government itself. From 1949 onwards, in the reign of Nehru, he started destroying these files. Now, it is debatable topic that why all these things didn't come to light after so many years of independence. Today, unfortunately, we have crossed 125 years of Netaji's birth anniversary, but still, we are still in darkness. We don't even know all these facts. We might be very shocked to know that the remains of Netaji, which we claim are kept in Rinpoche temple, are really not of Netaji, because it is being also found by Justice Mukherjee that that remain is of one of the Japanese soldier, and that Japanese soldier whose body remains were kept, that is why they were always afraid to do the DNA test, and that is why always the government was playing some excuse, because we are afraid that if those kind of tests or anthropological tests are done, then it would be easily understood that it is the remains of an Indian body, African body, or a Southeastern body. So that's why we really wanted to always avoid that thing. But my friends, these conspiracies will not really discourage us. These conspiracies may not really somehow demotivate us, because we know that there would be a lot of efforts to demotivate people. And it might happen that the ages will pass. Our next generation will at least know that there are some great leaders who have done so much to make their country great, who have tried to sacrifice everything for their country selflessly, without any interest. And those great leaders always remain behind the curtain. But we should always try to bring out such information to our next generation, to the mass. At least they could know that what exactly were the great deeds of this great leader. So I'm keeping this video till this much in this episode. In the next episode, I'll come with some more information about the findings and the explanations and the motives which actually kept Gumnami Baba in darkness. But till this much, we are having simply no doubt of the fact that this holy man, or the person who was staying in recluse, was none other than the great leader Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. If you really like this video, please give your comments and let me know what exactly you are thinking about it, because this is the way, or this is a chance how we can show our patriotism for our country, and we can pass on the information to our next generation. And if you have still not subscribed my channel, please do so, so that if you want to stay ahead, stay motivated and stay positive, you must watch my channel. Please click on the bell button to get notification of such important and interesting videos. Jai Hind.